Hey there, D-Dub here. Today I'm kind of coming at you with just a off-the-cuff arcade video. So the other day I was supposed to be going on this whale watch, and yeah, that's right, listen, hit that thumbs up and subscribe if you're not already. Anyways, the other day I was supposed to be going on a whale watch, and when we got there, we were pretty much 10 minutes late. We didn't leave in time. We got a little bit sidetracked with directions and that kind of thing. So we showed up late, and then we were just at the beach with nothing to do. So we decided to go hit the beach. It was a pretty nice day, and we went and got some food. We were kind of just walking around. We actually hit the beach. It wasn't the nicest day actually for beach. I mean, it was only like maybe 65, and then at one point we had like a lot of overcast clouds and wind come in, and it was only like maybe 60 at that point. But regardless, we still got sunburnt from the overcast. So if you're ever at the ocean or out in the ocean, just know that even if it's overcast and cloudy, you are still getting scorched. And I saw several people that were already sunburnt pretty good. So all right, anyway, I'm getting off track here. Regardless of that, we went and got some food, and this is a place that I used to go as a kid, and we pretty much went there every summer, and I haven't been there since probably about 2006. When I graduated from high school was the last time that I'd actually gone to this specific beach. Any other time that we usually go to the beach, it's kind of the one up the way. It's a couple miles up over the New Hampshire border. This here is in Massachusetts. So anyways, we were eating food, and then we decided to go and hit the arcade, which I thought was a pretty good idea. And then I started thinking about actually turning it into a video, and even though I did have my pretty good camera in the car, we didn't take it with us. So I found myself in this arcade just with my cell phone, and for some stupid reason or another, I decided to film in landscape mode the whole time. I know, that's a sin. Hit the like button. Well, hit the dislike button for the sin that I've committed of holding the phone in portrait mode. I should have known better, and I should have went with landscape mode, but for whatever reason, I just wasn't thinking until after I actually got home, and now I'm putting this video together, and I'm realizing just how dumb I am. So anyways, this is an arcade that's been around for a very long time. I did a little bit of research, and there's pictures from like the 70s, maybe even the 60s, and they're in black and white. So this is Joe's Funland, and it's been there for a long time. And I've been there before, but I guess as a more mature and older, true video game lover and appreciator, it was awesome to go in there and see things like the Simpsons arcade machine. There was actually two of them. There was two arcades. One's on one side of the street, and it's a 2-story building, and the other one is on the other side of the street, and that one doesn't really have anything in it. It did have the shot that I just showed a second ago. It had the nicer Simpsons arcade machine, but in this building over here, they had a Simpsons machine too, and that thing was just completely beat up. All the graphics were ripped off. You know, things had been replaced, things had been shredded. The whole side of it had just been bleached from sunlight. So anyways, as I got to the second floor, I realized that that's where most of their real gems and things like that actually are. As you could see a minute ago, you know, I was going across the wall, and they have all these old marquee signs ripped off of many different arcade units that weren't even there. I actually, looking in some of the pictures, I saw a bunch of different other arcade machines that aren't even there anymore. And this right here was a giant pinball machine. It had to have been 3 feet wide by maybe 8 or 10 feet long. This thing was a monster, and right there I'm pretty much playing with a pool ball. It's pretty much a cue ball sized, pool ball sized pinball, and this machine was just monster. So that was pretty cool, but it was just awesome to walk around and see all these old school arcade machines. And going across the wall, you saw things like, Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter 2 and like Streets of Rage and all these awesome different marquees. So as I was there and I was playing a few things, my kid was playing a few things. We played a Jurassic Park game where it was just like a 2-person helicopter shooter. And then we did this other kind of interactive, you kind of like lay down on these seats, and it's like a simulation where there's like different rides that you can pick. And we pretty much did this terror funhouse thing, and my wife, she got a video of that, and that was actually hilarious because for being 6, he was actually pretty scared. It was like a roller coaster going through a fun house. So anyway, regardless, I just kept going around with my phone out and recording everything. They had this, some machines were down, like that Tetris one and this stunt cycle here, and I wanted to play that Tetris one really bad. I did play this Super Mario Brothers arcade unit for a couple minutes, and that was pretty cool. It's just amazing to see all this old stuff, and some of these were in pretty good condition, others weren't. I mean, it's right at the ocean. You're about 15 feet from the beach here, so you got things like sand everywhere, and you know, a lot of them are just dirty and beat up. But you know, Street Fighter 2 there, you got Kicks, you know, Donkey Kong. There was the Streets of Rage marquee sign, and they also had a Streets of Rage cabinet, and that was down. I was kind of strapped for time here because we were getting ready to leave to go find something else to do, so I basically had a 6-year-old and a completely uninterested wife type figure trying to drag me out of there as I'm going through and filming these walls here. But overall, it was a really good time, and even though it was just sort of off the cuff, it was pretty cool to go in, and I wish I had, you know, thought about it a little bit better. I'm going to be going back because we missed the whale watch, so I'm rescheduling that, and I think I'll try to make it a point to go back with my real camera and get, you know, much better footage and not in portrait mode. So you guys can blame me for that, but you know, I saw things like the Terminator cab, the Simpsons, the Streets of Rage. I wanted to play that, the Atari Tetris, because I know that was on screen. I didn't actually film it, I don't think, but that was a little bit different looking, an old school style of Tetris. So you know, that thing there is pretty OG, and I had wished here that the Final Fight cab was working. At one point, this older guy, he was probably 50, he came up to me and he was talking about how a lot of these machines were his and how he's been working for this place for the past 20 years. I got to talking to him for a few minutes, and he was saying that a lot of these cabs he donated and or hunted down over the years working for them. So then at that point, that was about the time when I left. So hopefully when I go back, I can talk to him a little bit more and just ask him what arcade life has been like growing up, because for me, there's only been a few arcades. There's one at my local mall, which the mall actually just closed its doors today. The only thing that's open still is the Target that's attached to it. But back in the day, you know, probably like 1998, 99, 2000, 2001, that's when we used to go in there, and they had, you know, some old school Tekken or like Tekken Tag Tournament when that had first come out. They had Soul Edge, which eventually, you know, became Soul Calibur, but we used to go in and play Soul Edge. They had that for a long time. And then for a couple years, you know, I didn't really hit it up too much, and then it kind of became a newer type of arcade, and it was kind of sad because it didn't have anything classic really. It was most of these toy and ticket and coin scam games. You know, you put quarters in, the lights go, and then you get tickets, or you push the pile of coins off and you get the tickets from that. And it's kind of sad that now that's closed. So that closed today. Literally, I saw the announcement for it in the paper. And yesterday I was at this awesome arcade that's, at the beach. That's, kind of unknown, I guess, but for the area, people know it. And there wasn't too many people there. I hope that, with it being on the beach, it at least makes its share of money to stay open, because over here in America, at least, the arcade scene is just dying. So I took these videos just in appreciation of it because I love it. And even though I didn't really grow up with it, I did grow up at the tail end of it. And, I've seen some arcades. I wish we had gone and had the time to go up the way like a couple miles. I know they have a massive arcade, so maybe when I go back in a month, I can go hit up that arcade and see what they have. I think same though is it's a more modern arcade with all the newer things, all these fighting games and stuff that's in HD and nothing too old school. So on the first floor here, we had a bunch of pinball machines. There was this awesome Deadpool one. There was the Munsters. There was the Iron Maiden cab, which I really wanted to play on, but there was one gentleman, and he was glued to that thing for over a half hour, and I think he was trying to beat his own high score. So he was not moving. And I asked him if he thought me and him together could steal it out of there, and he laughed and said, yeah. So I think if I had given him a few bucks, we might have been able to go and put it in my car, but... So anyways, this is the Munsters cabinet. I love the Munsters. I grew up watching that. That was another one. I really wish I had money to collect some of these, because some of these are just so awesome. And even though it's a newer version, it's nice and clean, but it's still of the old school stuff. And that's a show that I grew up on and hold near and dear to my heart. So anything that's from then and that time period is just great to see. They also had the Star Wars cab. That thing was just cool. I guess it was a little bit of old school and new school Star Wars. It looked, pretty clean, pretty new. But even though it's kind of a, reproduction of old school ones, it was still cool to see. And like I said, I wish I had better footage here. But then they also had the Kiss. The awesome and memorable Kiss arcade cabinet. And so this has just been my trip. I just wanted to show my appreciation of the arcade. Like I said, I wish I had planned for it and had a little bit more time, but maybe I can go back and give a better video for you guys, as like I said, this is just came off the cuff. The plans went awry and this is where I ended up. So I just thought that was pretty cool. And like I said, it really is a shame that video games today has become the way that it has, and that there's, at least not in the United States, there's not many of these great arcades left. There's plenty of rich people and people with money that have bought these kinds of things, and then there's plenty of other arcade cabinets and games sitting in basements or garages. And there is like that high time collector kind of niche going on in this industry, but there's not many like massive arcades that you can just go to. They're all far in between, and obviously the bigger the city, the better the arcade, but even then they're trying to cater to the new school and the new games. And just seeing the different variety of games and cabs that they had at this place, I was blown away, because I haven't been there in almost 15 years or 13 years. And even when I was there the last time, I don't think I went to this arcade. So it was just amazing to see just the different marquees and things that they had ripped off from other arcade cabinets and plastered up on the wall. I'm sure at some point they had functional cabinets actually there and working. And there was definitely a lot of blank spots where they had taken some of the stuff out. As you saw before, there was a couple different cabinets that were just kind of dead and sitting there. And then I ran across this thing, which was this giant puppet show in a box. And so for a quarter, I put it in, and I found another video of this on YouTube, and one of the commenters, he said that even when he was a kid in the late 70s, he remembers this being there. So this machine here has been sitting there for a long time. A couple of the guys were broke, a couple of the strings were snapped. I don't know what that cat's doing exactly, but this thing was just evil. My son, he wanted me to turn it off and stop it, and I really got my quarter's worth, because that thing went for about 3 minutes. So as you had seen, you know, we had Tetris and Final Fight and Mortal Kombat and Gauntlet and a bunch of different pinballs, Miss Pac-Man. There was also the Super Pac-Man. There was this here, it was, you know, Atari. I saw it from the outside. I forget the name of it. I thought I had another shot of it, but I guess not. I tried to just film as quick as I could. At that point, I was giving quarters to my son to basically keep him entertained. At one point, he was going, "Dada, come on, we got it. You're wasting all your money." And I told him, "No, I'm filming, and that's free." So, anyways, this is my off-the-cuff arcade trip, and I think I'll be going back to try to make a bit of a better video, higher quality. So, let me know what you guys think. Like I said, this is just my ode to the arcade, to show my love for the arcade, and I hope some of you enjoyed it as well. So this is D-Dub out. Like, comment, whatever you got to do, subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.